Good morning again. Here we are, September the 18th, 2024. This is the attempt on the fourth video this morning. As I've stated many times, but it probably wasn't clear, I don't set the phone where I can see myself. Things are in reverse and it's not important. My timer phone battery went dead. I set the timer on that for 11 minutes before I started the video. I want to pick up with some thoughts of previous videos where you have Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob is known as Israel. In chapter 48 of Genesis, Jacob's about to die. He crosses his hand and he blesses Ephraim and Manasseh. If you know anything about tradition in that day, the older child was blessed, and it was a physical laying of the hand from the father. In the emphasis of that story, he claims his two grandsons as his own children and blesses them ahead of his own naturally born sons, which are 12. Speaking of Jacob, Israel. But I want to back up to chapter 27 of Genesis with Abraham. Now, if I ask you how many sons Abraham had, what would you say? How many sons did Abraham have? Well, you say, well, he had Isaac. Then there's Ishmael, Hagar's child, Sarah's child, or Sarai, Sarah's child. But here you find 6 more children. And I'm not going to try to tell you if these are men or women, boys or girls. But a total of 8 children. Now, God promised Abraham his descendants would be as numerous as stars in the sky. We only think of Isaac's children. We may only think of Ishmael's children. Ishmael went on to have 12 sons, I believe it says, starting in verse 16, the sons of Ishmael. And these are their names by their village and by their camps. 12 princesses according to their tribes. Read that for yourself, Genesis 25. But what I would like to highlight in Genesis 25, starting in maybe verse 21, Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife. Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was barren. And the Lord answered him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived, but the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it is so, why then am I this way? So she went to inquire of the Lord. This is New American Standard Bible Version. So she went to inquire of the Lord. Verse 23, the Lord said to her. Now, how did the Lord speak to her? This is Rebekah. The Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples will be separated from your body. and one people shall be stronger than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. God speaking here in his word, New American Standard. What can we learn from these few short, clear verses in the Bible? 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples will be separated from your body. You go on to read where one is born and I believe he's hanging on to the heels of the other. I just read that the other day. I'm not going to try to get caught up in making that clear just because it would be very distractful. God knew what he was doing. He allowed circumstances, things to take place. But are we willing to search the mysteries, the revelation, if you will, of innumerable people? I've referenced several times, the harvest is ready, but the laborers are few. We could be talking about spiritual children. We could be talking about physical children. What do you teach your kids, your little bambitos, as your seed produced children? This man opened up bags of seed. I've got video of him opening bags of seed, putting them in the planter, look identical to these. Much bigger and better because these are stunted from maturity of lack of moisture, especially on this bare spot where this ground is very barren right here. I'm in the shade. It's obvious the shade has some effect on it. However, the sun has changed. God is going to have his harvest. God is going to use Israel, his people, not so much as Israel, the land. Did that go over your head? Did I make that clear? God is going to use his people, the sons of Jacob, known as Israel, the 12 tribes. God is going to use his people, Israel, more so than the land of Israel. However, there is a promise to both. Talks about the temple being built there. We are the living temple. As we live, Christ lives in us. When we take on sonship, Holy Spirit leads us, guides us, directs us to be light bearers, Christ-like, little Christian, to go into the world, to share the gospel. What is the gospel to you? What is your understanding of the gospel? Let that be a question. What is the gospel of Jesus Christ to you? He talked to the 12 apostles. At some point you see there's 70, 72 disciples he sends out. He's raised up many. He's raised up many now. The earth is shaking. The pot is boiling. The harvest is ready. The laborers are few. Many are on YouTube. If you're watching this, you're watching it on YouTube. You could be watching it through Facebook if I elect to put it on Facebook or somebody shares it. Many, like myself, servants, sons of the Lord,